What if two ordinary men could connect billions of people with one simple idea? What if a small thought, born in a tiny room, could change the way the whole world speaks to each other forever? Imagine for a moment that you are sitting alone, with no money, no power, and no special background. You are just one person with a dream. Could you really change the world? Many people would say no. But today, I want to share with you the powerful story of two men who proved that it is possible. This is the story of WhatsApp, the messaging app that today is used by families, friends, workers, and students all over the planet. And this is not only a story about technology. It is also a story about hope, struggle, friendship, rejection, and persistence. As you listen, remember this: you are not just learning about WhatsApp. You are also practicing English and practicing life lessons at the same time. Every word, every sentence, is an opportunity for you to grow in your language and in your mindset. So, open your heart, open your ears, and let us go into the untold story of how two normal people created something extraordinary. When we hear about billionaires and successful people, we often imagine that they were born lucky. We think maybe they had rich parents, maybe they went to the best schools, or maybe they had everything given to them. But the story I will tell you today is not like that. It is about a boy who came to America with nothing but hope, and about a man who lost jobs but never lost his smile. It is about how rejection, which feels like the end, can actually be the start of something greater. Many English learners feel the same way. They feel like their mistakes are the end, like their bad grades are the end, like they will never improve. But I promise you, just as Jan Koum and Brian Acton turned rejection into success, you can turn your mistakes into progress. WhatsApp is not just an app. It is a symbol. It shows us that small beginnings can lead to big endings. And as you listen, you will see that this story is really your story too, because you also have dreams, you also have fears, and you also have the power to keep going when life gets hard. Let us begin with Jan Koum, the first hero of this story. Jan was born in Ukraine, near the capital Kiev. His family did not have much money. Life was difficult and opportunities were very small. When Jan was a teenager, his mother decided to take him to the United States. She wanted a better life for her son, a life where he could study and grow. But when they arrived in America, the dream did not immediately come true. They lived in a small apartment. They had to survive on food stamps, which are pieces of paper the government gives to poor families to buy food. His mother worked as a cleaner, going to rich houses and scrubbing floors, washing bathrooms, and carrying heavy bags just so they could survive. Jan often felt embarrassed and lonely. He was not rich, he was not popular, and he was not sure about the future. But deep inside, he had something very powerful: curiosity. He wanted to learn. He wanted to understand computers, technology, and the invisible language of code. This curiosity became his light in a very dark situation. Jan could not afford to buy many books or even a computer in the beginning. So where could he learn? The answer was the library. Every day, Jan went to the public library. There, he read books about programming and computer science. He borrowed thick manuals about coding. He studied them page by page. He copied lines of code on paper and imagined how they would work on a real computer. When he finally got access to a computer, he tested his ideas. Sometimes the programs failed, sometimes they worked, but every time he learned something new. Imagine a thin boy, sitting alone in a library corner, reading technical books that many adults found difficult. This boy had no money, no teachers, no special help. But he had something that money cannot buy: passion. Passion gave him energy to continue. Passion made him forget hunger, loneliness, and fear. And this is important for you too, as an English learner. You may not have the best school, or the best teacher, or the most expensive courses. But if you have passion, if you have the fire inside to keep learning, you can go far. Jan's story proves it. But behind Jan's learning was his mother's sacrifice. She cleaned houses every day, even when she was tired, even when her health was getting weak. She wanted her son to have a chance. Sadly, she was sick with cancer. Even while sick, she never stopped encouraging him. She told him, "Work hard. Do not give up. Do not waste your chance." These words stayed in Jan's heart. He promised himself that he would make her proud. He would not let her sacrifice be wasted. Life was hard, but the fire inside him was stronger. When you think about learning English, maybe you also feel tired, maybe your life is busy, maybe you do not have support. But like Jan's mother said, do not give up. Even small steps every day can take you to a big goal. Sometimes, our difficulties become our strength. Jan's poverty made him stronger. His mother's sickness gave him a reason to keep going. Remember this when you feel weak. Every problem can push you forward, if you choose to fight. Now, let us meet the second hero of this story, Brian Acton. Brian was very different from Jan in background. He was American, and he had studied computer science at university. He was a cheerful man, always smiling, always positive, even when things went wrong. He worked at big companies like Yahoo, where he gained experience in technology and teamwork. But what made Brian special was not just his technical skills. It was his attitude. He believed that technology should be simple, human, and useful. He believed that people deserved tools that helped them, not tools that made them feel small. When Jan met Brian at Yahoo, they quickly became friends. Jan was serious, focused, sometimes shy. Brian was relaxed, humorous, and full of encouragement. Together, they balanced each other. Jan brought determination and strong discipline. Brian brought positivity and creativity. This friendship would become the seed for something much greater than both of them could imagine at that time. Working at Yahoo was not always exciting. They spent many years fixing advertising systems, dealing with boring problems, and working long hours. But in those years, Jan and Brian built trust. They shared lunches, they shared jokes, and most importantly, they shared dreams. They both believed that technology could connect people in simple, powerful ways. They often talked about building something of their own, something free from complicated ads, something that just worked. Sometimes, friends come into our lives not only to give us company but to help us see bigger possibilities. Jan and Brian were like that. They encouraged each other, they pushed each other, and they reminded each other not to settle for less. If you think about your own life, maybe you also have a friend like this, or maybe you will meet one in the future. The people around us can change our destiny. Jan and Brian's friendship was not just personal. It was the beginning of a revolution. What connected Jan and Brian most deeply was their belief about technology. They both disliked complicated systems. They hated spam and unnecessary ads. They wanted tools that were clean, simple, and direct. For them, technology was not about showing power. It was about serving people. This belief was rare at that time. Many companies only wanted to make money through advertisements. But Jan and Brian wanted something different. They wanted to make technology feel like a friend, not a business. This belief would later become the foundation of WhatsApp: no ads, no noise, just simple communication. And think about it, the same principle can help in English learning too. Learning does not need to be complicated. You do not need too many books, too many rules, too many tests. Sometimes, simple practice, daily repetition, and honest conversation are enough. Just like WhatsApp, your learning journey can be clean, clear, and human. After many years at Yahoo, both Jan and Brian left their jobs. They wanted to try something new. So, they applied to Facebook. Imagine their hope: a big company, a new start, an exciting opportunity. But when they applied, they were rejected. Yes, rejected. Facebook said no. For many people, this would be the end. They would feel ashamed. They would feel hopeless. They would maybe give up. But Jan and Brian did not. They laughed. Brian even joked about it on Twitter, saying he had been rejected but life goes on. This moment is very important. Because rejection happens to all of us. Maybe you failed a test. Maybe someone laughed at your English. Maybe you tried for a job and did not get it. It hurts, yes. But rejection is not the end. It is just redirection. It is a sign that you are being pushed towards something bigger, even if you do not see it yet. Jan and Brian understood this truth. Instead of crying over Facebook's rejection, Jan and Brian decided to build their own dream. They said, if they don't want us, we will make something of our own. This is the spirit that changes the world. Many great stories begin with a no, that no becomes fuel. It becomes fire. It becomes the reason to try harder. For Jan, the poor immigrant boy, and Brian, the positive friend, rejection became their motivation. They started thinking, what do people really need? What is missing in the world? How can we make technology more human? These questions led them to the idea that would soon change everything, a simple, fast, free messaging app that worked on every phone. An app that would later be called WhatsApp. And here, my friends, is the lesson: do not let no stop you. Turn it into your power. Just as they did, you can take rejection and use it to write your own story of success. It was early 2009. Jan Koum was frustrated with his phone. He wanted a simple way to let people know if he was busy, at the gym, or at work. At first, his idea was not even about chatting. It was about showing a status, like available, busy, or in a meeting. But then he thought deeper: what if this status could also become a message? What if people could send these messages to friends instantly, without paying expensive SMS fees? This was the small spark that became WhatsApp. At that time, sending messages was not easy. SMS cost money. International messages were very expensive. Many people could not talk to their families abroad. Jan saw this pain and thought, we can solve this. He shared the idea with Brian Acton, and together, they began working. They had no office, no big company, no special support. Just two friends, a dream, and some borrowed computers. But sometimes, that is all you need. A dream, a friend, and courage. Building WhatsApp was not easy. At first, the app was full of bugs. It crashed often. Sometimes it did not work at all. Jan became discouraged. He even thought about giving up. But Brian encouraged him. Brian said, keep going, it will work. Don't stop now. To support the project, Brian borrowed money from friends. They worked in small rooms, writing code for hours, testing again and again. Jan was very strict. He wanted WhatsApp to be perfect, clean, and simple. He believed that if it worked well, people would love it. Day after day, month after month, they fixed problems. At first, only a few hundred people downloaded it. Then it became a few thousand. But slowly, the numbers started to rise. Jan and Brian did not advertise. They did not spend money on marketing. WhatsApp grew because people loved it and told their friends. That is the power of solving a real problem. If your idea is truly useful, people will share it. Soon, people began to notice something special about WhatsApp. It was simple. No ads. No complicated steps. Just open, type, and send. And the best part, it was free. At a time when people were paying a lot of money for SMS, WhatsApp gave them freedom. Immigrants could talk to their families abroad without worrying about cost. Workers could connect instantly. Friends could share moments. Mothers could send love to their children far away. This emotional value made WhatsApp powerful. It was not just a tool, it was a bridge. It brought people closer. By the end of 2010, WhatsApp already had millions of users. And still, Jan and Brian kept it simple. No flashy colors. No complicated designs. Just messages. Sometimes, success is not about adding more, but about keeping less. Simplicity is the ultimate beauty. Let us pause and ask, why did WhatsApp grow so fast? The answer is clear. People loved it because it respected them. It did not waste their time. It did not show annoying ads. It did not try to trick them. It simply did what it promised, send messages quickly and safely. This was a big difference compared to other apps. Many apps were heavy, slow, and full of distractions. WhatsApp was light, clean, and focused. Another reason was trust. People trusted WhatsApp because it was not greedy. Jan and Brian believed in privacy. They wanted people to feel safe while talking. That is why WhatsApp later added encryption, so that nobody, not even governments, could easily read private messages. This respect built loyalty. And loyalty built growth. By 2013, WhatsApp had hundreds of millions of users. It was becoming part of daily life across the globe. And yet, the two founders stayed humble, still working in small offices, still wearing simple clothes, still living quietly. Think about it, one app, started by two men with almost no money, was now changing the entire world. In rich countries, people loved WhatsApp because it was fast. In poor countries, people loved it because it was cheap, or even free. Families separated by oceans could talk every day. Workers could organize quickly. Students could share homework. For the first time in history, communication was no longer controlled by expensive phone companies. WhatsApp gave power to the people. This is why the story is so inspiring. It shows us that one small idea, when combined with hard work and persistence, can shake the entire planet. You may not build an app, but maybe you will write a book, open a school, start a project, or simply improve your life through English. The principle is the same. Start small. Be useful. Stay simple. Keep going. That is how change happens. By 2014, WhatsApp had grown too big to ignore. It had 400 million users, and the number was rising fast. Mark Zuckerberg, the founder of Facebook, saw WhatsApp as both a threat and an opportunity. Facebook was the biggest social network, but WhatsApp was becoming the biggest messaging service. Zuckerberg invited Jan Koum to his house for dinner. They talked for hours about the future of communication. Zuckerberg believed that WhatsApp could fit perfectly with Facebook's vision of connecting the world. Jan was cautious. He did not want WhatsApp to become full of ads. He wanted to protect its simplicity. But he also knew that with Facebook's resources, WhatsApp could grow even bigger. After many conversations, a decision was made that shocked the world: Facebook would buy WhatsApp. In February 2014, the news exploded: Facebook was buying WhatsApp for $19 billion. $19 billion. At that time, it was the largest deal ever for a startup company. To understand how big this was, remember Jan's background. This was the boy who once lived on food stamps. This was the boy whose mother cleaned houses so he could study. Now, he was one of the richest men in the world. Brian too, who had once been rejected by Facebook, was now part of a deal with Facebook itself. Life is full of surprises. Sometimes, rejection comes before the greatest reward. The deal made headlines everywhere. People could not believe that two ordinary men had built something so valuable. But the truth is, the value was not in the app itself. The value was in the billions of people who trusted WhatsApp to connect them with their loved ones. That trust is priceless. After the deal, Jan Koum became a billionaire overnight. But he never forgot his past. On the day of signing the Facebook deal, he went to the same welfare office where he and his mother once stood in line for food stamps. He sat in his car, thinking about how far he had come. From a poor immigrant boy to one of the most successful entrepreneurs in history. He later donated large amounts of his wealth to charity, helping poor communities and supporting education. He remembered his mother's sacrifice and wanted to honor her by giving back. This is another lesson: true success is not only about taking, but also about giving. When you rise, you can lift others. And when you achieve, you can help others achieve too. For Jan, money was never the final goal. Respect, simplicity, and kindness were always more important. Brian Acton, too, became a billionaire from the deal. But he stayed true to his values. After some years, he left Facebook because he disagreed with some of its decisions, especially about ads and privacy. He later supported other projects, including Signal, another private messaging app. Brian showed the world that money was not everything. He cared about freedom, privacy, and honesty. He wanted technology to serve people, not control them. His journey teaches us that even when you reach success, you must not forget your principles. You can be rich and still choose integrity. You can be powerful and still choose kindness. This balance between success and values is rare, but Brian Acton lived it. And that is why many people admire him even more than his wealth. The sale of WhatsApp to Facebook was not just a business deal. It was a turning point in the history of communication. For the first time, a simple idea from two ordinary men had connected billions of people across cultures, languages, and countries. WhatsApp became a part of daily life: children messaging parents, doctors messaging patients, workers coordinating projects, friends sharing jokes. It became the invisible thread that connected the human family. And behind it all, the story of Jan and Brian reminded the world of something important. You do not need to be born rich, you do not need perfect English, you do not need the best start in life. What you need is passion, persistence, and belief. With these, even the most ordinary person can do something extraordinary. That is the power of the WhatsApp story. When we think of WhatsApp today, we do not just think of an app. We think of the moments it has created. A grandmother in India can see her grandson's first steps in America through a video. A worker in Africa can send money details to his family instantly. A student in Brazil can share notes with friends late at night. These small stories are everywhere. WhatsApp became more than a tool, it became a lifeline. For the poor, it saved money. For the lonely, it gave connection. For families, it gave love across distance. Imagine a world without WhatsApp. Millions of voices would be silent, millions of connections lost. And all of this came from two men who once faced rejection, poverty, and doubt. The lesson is clear: no matter how small you feel today, your actions, your ideas, and your dreams can touch lives far beyond your imagination. One of the greatest lessons from this story is about rejection. Remember, Jan and Brian applied to Facebook and were rejected. If they had stopped there, WhatsApp would never have been born. But instead of seeing rejection as failure, they saw it as redirection. It was life's way of telling them, not this door, but another one. Many of you listening today have also faced rejection. Maybe you failed an English test. Maybe you tried for a job and did not get it. Maybe someone laughed at your accent. It hurts, yes, but it is not the end. Rejection is only a message: try another way. Jan and Brian used rejection to create something bigger. And you too can use rejection as energy. Every no is a step toward your yes. Do not let rejection close your heart. Let it open new doors. Another lesson from WhatsApp is about beginnings. WhatsApp did not start as a billion-dollar company. It started with one idea, one friend, and one small room. At first, it was just a status app. Slowly, it became messaging. Then slowly, it became global. Step by step, it grew. The same is true for your goals. Maybe you want to speak fluent English. Maybe you want to travel abroad. Maybe you want to start a small business. Do not worry about the big picture today. Start small. Learn 5 new words. Speak one new sentence. Talk to one new person. Small steps become big journeys. Just as WhatsApp began with one small step, your journey can too. The important thing is not speed, but persistence. A seed does not become a tree in one night. But if you water it every day, it will grow strong and tall. One of the secrets of WhatsApp's success was simplicity. No ads. No distractions. Just messages. Simplicity is powerful because it respects people. It gives them what they need, not what they don't. This is also true for learning English. Many learners try to do too much. They buy many books, they memorize long grammar rules, they stress about mistakes. But the truth is, learning is simple. Read a little every day. Listen to English daily. Speak when you can. Write short notes. That's all. Do not complicate it. Keep it simple, keep it consistent, and results will come. WhatsApp teaches us that simplicity is not weakness, it is strength. So when you study English, ask yourself, am I keeping it simple? Am I focusing on what really matters? If yes, then you are already on the right path. Jan Koum became a billionaire, but he never forgot his past. He remembered the food stamps. He remembered his mother cleaning houses. He remembered the pain and struggle. That memory kept him humble. He donated to charity. He respected people. He stayed quiet, not showing off his wealth. This is a lesson for all of us. Success should not make us arrogant. It should make us grateful. If you improve your English and get a good job, remember the time you struggled. Remember the teachers, the friends, and the moments that helped you. When we stay connected to our roots, we stay human. And when we stay human, our success becomes more meaningful. Like Jan, we should never forget where we came from, because that memory keeps us grounded. Now let us connect this story directly to your English journey. WhatsApp began with a simple idea: status updates. It was small, almost invisible. But it grew step by step. Your English can grow in the same way. Do not expect fluency overnight. Do not expect perfection in 1 month. Start small. Learn a few new words. Practice short sentences. Read simple stories. WhatsApp grew because people used it every day. Your English will grow if you use it every day. Small, daily practice is stronger than big, rare effort. So, just as WhatsApp connected billions step by step, your English can connect you to millions, step by step. Remember how Jan and Brian were rejected by Facebook? Remember how that rejection gave them power to build something greater. In English learning, rejection is also common. Maybe someone does not understand you. Maybe you mispronounce a word and people laugh. Maybe you forget vocabulary in a conversation. This feels like rejection. But do not stop. Every mistake is like a "no" from Facebook. And every "no" can lead you to your WhatsApp moment. Keep practicing. Keep learning. Keep moving forward. Rejection is not the end of your English journey. It is the redirection towards success. One day, the same people who laughed at your mistakes will be surprised at your fluency. So do not be afraid of mistakes. They are your teachers. WhatsApp succeeded because it was simple. The same principle works for your English learning. Do not make your learning journey too heavy. You do not need to know every grammar rule before you speak. You do not need to memorize the whole dictionary before you write. Focus on communication. Focus on understanding and being understood. That is the heart of language. Just like WhatsApp focused only on connecting people, you should focus only on connecting with your listener. Do not aim for perfection, aim for connection. When you change your focus, learning becomes lighter, easier, and more enjoyable. Remember, simple is powerful. Another reason WhatsApp grew was because it was used every day. People did not open it once a month. They opened it many times a day, to chat, to laugh, to share. That constant use made it part of life. For English, the same rule applies. If you only study once a week, progress will be slow. But if you touch English every day, even for 10 minutes, it will become part of your life. Listen while walking. Read while eating. Write a short message in English to a friend. These small daily uses will make your English strong and natural. Like WhatsApp, your English will grow from daily connection, not rare effort. So ask yourself, am I touching English every day? If yes, you are on the path to success. And now we arrive at the end of this story. WhatsApp is not just an app. It is a story of courage, friendship, and belief. It is the story of Jan Combe, a poor immigrant boy, and Brian Acton, a positive friend. They were rejected, but they turned rejection into power. They were ordinary, but they created something extraordinary. They connected billions of people, and they reminded us that one small idea can change the world. My dear friends, you too have the power to connect with the world. Maybe not through an app, but through your English, through your voice, through your dreams. Do not let rejection stop you. Do not let fear stop you. Remember, if two men, sitting in a small room with almost nothing, could build something that touched the world, then you too can achieve your dream. WhatsApp connected billions. And English can connect you to millions. Believe, keep going, and never stop. Your story is still being written.